Now the Miami Dolphins. This is the one that, it excites me. I predicted the Miami Dolphins to go 5-11 last year. And hey, lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. They did go 5-11. The reality of my prediction was, the Dolphins went 5-11. Now, last year was a rebuilding year for the Dolphins. They had a new head coach, Brian Flores. He was in his first year of a 5-year contract. And the Dolphins were not very talented last year. They started the season 0-7. Here's how the first 4 games went. They lost their first 4 games. They lost 59-10. They lost. That was to the Ravens. They lost 43-0 to the Patriots. They lost 31-10 after that. They lost 30-10 the week after that in week 4. But after their bad 0-7 start, the final 9 games of the year, the Dolphins finished 5-4. And the Dolphins made tremendous progress at the end of the year over the course of the season, man. It's rare that a team goes 5-11 and you feel really, really good about it. I mean, I am telling you, the Dolphins as a team made tremendous progress. They were not a 5-11 team. They were not talented enough to go 5-11, and they did. I mean, they really overachieved. They did a lot with their roster, and you have to give a ton of credit to the Dolphins' new head coach, Brian Flores, man. He did a great thing. He really built and elevated the culture of the Miami Dolphins, and it's just coaching, man. Like, if you help players and develop their skill and develop young guys, you'll see what happened to the Dolphins last year where their young, untalented guys developed and got better. But at the end of the year, they were a strong, cohesive unit, and that's a massive, massive deal. That's why the Dolphins got so much better at the end. Now, the only thing I like the wrinkle I couldn't quite get right with the Dolphins last year that I couldn't have predicted was that the Dolphins ended up rallying around their veteran quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like, who would have thought? You know, what do they call him? Fitzmagic is what they call him. It's just cool, man. Like, they rallied around this old veteran quarterback, and he was the right guy. And it's very interesting to me, especially at the beginning of last year. Many people were accusing the Miami Dolphins of tanking. And it's just not true. Like, the Dolphins were trying to win games. That's why they played Ryan Fitzpatrick. He was the best quarterback they had on their roster, and they played him because the truth is, if you play a quarterback who's not the best on your roster, you lose the locker room. You can trade away players, but that's the only way you can tank. The only way you can tank in the NFL that works is if you trade away all your talented players to get assets and get draft picks. But every Sunday, you have to be trying to win, or else you lose the locker room and you lose respect for the head coach. So what the Dolphins did, I believe the Dolphins found a way to somewhat tank. You know, that traded away their assets. They traded away their best players. They traded away Kenyon Drake. They traded away Laramie Tunsil. They traded away Minkah Fitzpatrick. And they got draft picks for all of those guys. But once the team was finalized, the Dolphins were trying to win every single Sunday. They were building a good culture. They were doing player development. And that's exactly what happened. You know, the highlight of the year for the Miami Dolphins last year was they beat the New England Patriots Week 17 in New England, in Foxborough, Massachusetts. And the Patriots were trying to win. The Patriots losing cost the Patriots a first-round bye in the playoffs. And the Dolphins beat them outright. And it's really cool to literally measure the progress the Dolphins made over the course of the year. Week 2, the Dolphins lost to the Patriots 43-0. And then at the end of the year, Week 17, this is how much better they got. The Patriots lost to the Dolphins. The Dolphins went into New England and beat them 27-24. I mean, to lose that badly to a team at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year, come around and beat that team in a really meaningful game. The Dolphins made so much progress last year over the course of the season. And I got to say, man, their head coach, Brian Flores, looks like an awesome guy. He's building a culture I'm a fan of, and I am so excited for the football future in Miami, man. I can't wait to see the Dolphins continue to grow. I think they're doing the right stuff. I hope they get a franchise quarterback in the NFL draft coming up. But the Dolphins are building a great culture and one that I'm really a fan of and one that I find myself rooting for because I like Brian Flores, and I'm so impressed with the way he rallied that football team at the end of the year and developed players and made them better over the course of the season. Like, as a football nerd, I just look at that and go, well done, man. That's a great coach. You did a great job. And never met him, don't know much about him as a person, but as the product he put out on the field every weekend, it's clear he's doing the right stuff. And I'm rooting for Brian Flores. Like, that's just an awesome, well-done job. In case you don't know, Strong Opinion Sports is not just a YouTube channel. It is also a full audio podcast. You can find it on Spotify, on iTunes, on Google Play, pretty much everywhere you find podcasts. And if you like podcasts, please do me a huge favor and give it a listen.